closed with construction. 55 northbound stop and go from Deptford to the 42 freeway. This traffic report brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance. Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Customize and save with Liberty Mutual Insurance. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. Going up to about 66 degrees. I was calling for cloudy skies all morning long, but it's kind of been pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, the clouds are going to be increasing. We're going to have some rain by the time we get to this afternoon. Showers expected tomorrow as well. And then Friday, we're only going to get up to about 57. And it's not going to be a great weekend. I mean, it's not a washout or anything like that, but still, we got a taste of that 70-degree weather this past weekend.
It's my wife's birthday on Saturday, so I gotta change the weather.
All right. We're going to do Fox Good Day. Here we go.
57. Well, I'm excited to talk to Preston and Steve about this one because we're going to have some confessions up in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So a new survey lists the things that we often lie about to others.
Okay.
Do you guys want to confess first, or should I read some of the things we lie about?
Give us a taste.
Okay. What you do for a living, or how much
Okay.
responsibilities you have at that job.
Like you're in charge of the whole department. I run the whole show. In fact, I'm the vice president.
Yes, we are the vice presidents of Beasley Communications. Yes, absolutely. That's what we do. We just do this for fun.
Your travel stories or things that you've done on vacation.
I wouldn't lie about that.
No.
I would want to share.
Yeah, if it's
True
real,
stories.
what do you make? Yeah, I've been to Jupiter.
I mean, or you could say something didn't happen, but it actually did.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
The problem is that we have just never lied, and that's the issue. And never embellished.
Teach us your ways.
I think there are things that are the obvious, and I think I saw a couple on the list, like exercising. People talk about how much they exercise, or their sexual prowess, or things of that nature, right? Is that a common? Kathy, you're always boasting about what a lover you are.
Exercise, though? Because, I mean, can't we see the results? That's why I feel like I have to tell the truth.
Well,
you can tell.
Yeah, I guess to some level you could, but some people do embellish, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't lie about, so as far as the work situation, but I will use work as my excuse. Like, if I don't get back to somebody, I'm like, work's been crazy.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
There you go. Kathy,
That's it.
thank you. I was trying to think of some of these things, and I'm like, wow, I'm a pretty honest person as I was thinking about this. No, I'm not. But, Kathy, that's the one I'll use. Wow, crazy busy week this week. Sorry.
Oh, I'm
meanwhile,
sorry.
Preston's napping under his desk.
Sorry. By the way, it's the most awesome setup Preston has under his desk. There's an actual bed.
I actually do have a bed under my desk.
Really?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you send pictures? I know. You need to tweet out a picture or something. That sounds so convenient.
I'll do that. I think we've taken a video before, but I have a little yoga mat.
There's a curtain. It's
I put a curtain there so I can close it. Yeah.
It's like a sleeping berth on a railway car. It's awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
Been crazy
like George
busy this week.
Costanza.
Like George
Yeah.
Costanza.
Yes,
Yep.
Karen, 100%.
Here's one. Cooking skills. You may not know you're lying, but...
No, Preston's actually really. In fact, I boast that I can't cook.
Yeah.
And this validates going out to eat all the time. But Kathy is even very candid. She can't cook to save her life.
I can't cook. I don't cook.
Because
I'm
the
terrible.
problem is if you get trapped by your own lie, because I think if you boast about cooking, if you ever have a party or whatever,
gonna catch up
it's
with
going to
you.
catch up
Or
with you.
somebody might ask you to make something for them. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds delicious. Could you make that for me?
No, I was lying.
What about you guys, Alex and Karen? What are a couple of things that you're guilty of? We want to hear from you.
Yes.
Karen, you go first. I will, if like, kind of like you guys, I'm so busy at work, but because we have to go to bed early, Mike and I a lot of time, we have to go to bed, we can't make it, sorry, or something along those lines. It usually does come in handy.
What time do you shoot the second show that you do, Alex?
What time? Well, that's in the evening, so I have to go to bed earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I should go to bed at 8 is usually my target goal in a perfect world.
Okay.
But Karen goes earlier than me.
Well,
I can't make it. I try to do it around 8, but I got all these kids now. They're getting bigger, and they just refuse to be like. They're like, Mom, we got to stay up to 9. All our friends are awake. What do you know? Where's the mom in the world? I think sometimes there's competitiveness where you may lie about how great your kids are or how great your relationship.
We talked about that. That's a big one. And I lie about how great my kids are. I don't have kids.
He's good at it. He's real good at it. Yeah.
Or what about getting off the phone? Like, I have to go, something's happening, or someone's calling. Have you guys ever done that?
Yeah, you do something. I got to get off the phone. I'm not enjoying talking to you.
Yeah. Which is not a lie. Yeah. Which is not a lie.
Alex, Alex,
we love you guys.
You'll love this story. Elisa Frederico, who you guys also work with, she has been my best friend since we were 15. There have been times, and she knows, she'll be in the middle of something. I don't want to cut her off, so I just hang up on her. And then she texts me. She goes, I guess you had to go. Call me later.
So you've been friends long enough. So no warning, just click.
Click. Sorry,
I had to
go.
that.
Oh, my wife and I have a thing where there's the hand signal where I'll go, Claire!
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, he's an idiot. He did something.
Oh, man. My best friend calls me at like 9 o'clock at night, and it's always when he's walking his dog. And I don't even lie to him about that. I go, I've used all my words for the day. I don't want to talk. I'm done.
I've used all my words for the day.
Yeah,
That's a
enough.
good one.
Yeah.
My sister has some drama in her life, and so she talks about herself. And then she was talking to my brother who works in compliance, and he's telling her about his day. And all of a sudden, he notices it's quiet. She fell asleep.
Yes. Well, that works too.
That's great. That's awesome.
Well, now I'm inspired to be more honest. Thanks,
right.
guys.
Love you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you later. All right, listen, it is, oh my God, it's 8:02.
Oh, my God!
Yeah.
93.3 WMMR. It's time for a Preston and Steve Money Clip.
That was awesome!
Now, here's your Money Clip keyword.
By the way, I think it's the longest segment we've ever done on Fox 49 before.
And it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, Mike wasn't there.
We need Mike out of the equation. No, stop it. All right, here you go. Your keyword is obvious. And that's it. It's obvious. OBVIOUS. And you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. And there's 3 ways for you to do it. You can text it to our special contest short code number, which is 45911. Or if you'd like to be entered for the $10,000 grand prize, enter it via the MMR app or at WMMR.com. One random entry wins $500 in our company-wide contest, and that person will get a call from our company, Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules available at WMMR.com. Sponsored by Hyundai City. Again, the word for the money clip, obvious. OBVIOUS. Good luck to you.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
And it's brought to you this morning by Mulch Works of Aston. They offer the highest quality mulch and topsoil that is manufactured on site. And they also have leaf compost, decorative stone pavers, and more. Mulchworks has delivery or pickup for residential and commercial markets. Visit mulchthis.com for details. 4 girls between the ages of 12 and 14 allegedly started a fire and filmed it on Snapchat because they were bored, according to
wonderful.
Pennsylvania police. Yeah, and it was pretty wild. The bored girls were a 12-year-old and 3 14-year-olds, and they faced multiple charges in juvenile court of felony arson. They allegedly used a bug spray and Lysol to spark a blaze at an unoccupied house. They placed a shoebox on the couch, filled it with pieces of paper in the box, and then they sprayed it with the accelerant. The girls reportedly told police they were bored. One of the girls shared video of them starting the fire on Snapchat, and other photos of them at the scene watching their alleged handiwork also appeared on social media. Thank God they're too stupid and they posted that stuff. An officer was treated for smoke inhalation and a firefighter was hospitalized for a medical condition after the fire. Both have been released. Officials are also investigating whether the 4 girls are responsible for another fire set to a mattress inside a nearby house earlier that day.
You just want to go nuts when you hear this. Wow. I'm bored. I was bored as a kid. I never started arts. Felony fires.
Right. So you never know how your pets might actually save you. Dee Dee Mueller was napping in her Paradena, California home on Saturday and had multiple doors open to allow for fresh air to circulate, and that her 2 dogs, Mimi and Squirt, could go in and out of the house as they pleased. Well, Mueller says that she awoke when Mimi suddenly darted out of the bedroom and started barking loudly, with Squirt following close behind. These are small dogs. These are terriers, by the way.
Right.
Well, her security cameras reveal that a very large bear had wandered through the open door into the kitchen.
Oh, jeez.
And it was chased out of the house by Mimi and Squirt.
Sometimes that happens.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes the bear, I mean, the bear may look at it as not a real threat, but a nuisance and want to get out of there.
Just leaves.
And they take off. But, those... I have terriers, and they'll take on anything.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's
They're
insane.
fearless.
And they're tiny.
Listen, we just had a situation. We had a bear in here, but we had to chase it out. But you go back and nap, and then maybe next time, close the goddamn doors.
The footage shows the bear outside of the home and wandering to a pond on the other side of the yard where it was once again chased away by the small dogs. It's funny. Beverly McIntosh of Jonesboro, Arkansas, says her cat, Sparkles, climbed a 60-foot tree recently, and no amount of coaxing could get that cat to come down. McIntosh says she tried calling several organizations for help, but they told her that the cat would come down on her own if food was left at the base of the tree. Yeah,
there you go.
Got your cat down.
Problem solved.
When weeks went by without Sparkles showing any intention of coming down. Yeah. McIntosh eventually found a tree trimmer who was in town for a job, and the man agreed to climb up the tree to get the cat. Sparkles spent a total of 18 days in the tree.
I don't know. Sometimes that kicks in. Most cats are great at, climbing, but for that, maybe that panic sets in and they can't come back down.
As a kid, did you ever climb a tree?
Yes, I did.
And then realize, oh my God.
I climbed.
What have I done?
The tree in the neighborhood. The one that, like, you're going to climb that? And I went up really far. I stayed up in that tree for 18 days, Preston. No, but I stayed up for a while.
It's terrifying when you try to get your route down and realize it's a lot more difficult coming down than it is going up. So McIntosh says the animal is recovering at home and will be an indoor cat for the time being.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. A New Yorker who wants to marry their own adult offspring is suing to overturn laws barring the incestuous practice, calling it a matter of individual autonomy. The pining parent seeks to remain anonymous because the request is, quote, an action that a large segment of today's society views as morally, socially, and biologically repugnant, according to court papers.
Just want to marry my son. Is it son or daughter?
We don't know. They've kept everything out of the story. But the parent argues in a Manhattan federal court claim filed April 1st, through the enduring bond of marriage, two persons, whatever relationship they may otherwise have with one another, can find a greater level of expression, intimacy, and spirituality. Legal papers give only the barest picture of the would-be newlyweds, failing to identify their gender, ages, hometowns, or the nature of their relationship.
It's the craziest story. We met in the maternity room.
Oh, Jesus. The filing says the proposed spouses are adults. The proposed spouses are biological parent and child. The proposed spouses are unable to procreate together, by the way.
One day, baby, I'm going to marry you.
By the way, incest is a third-degree felony under New York law, punishable by up to 4 years behind bars, and incestuous marriages are considered void, with the spouses facing a fine and up to 6 months in jail.
What is the appropriate age to start dating your kids?
In 2014, a state appeals court unanimously approved a case involving a woman married to her mother's half-brother, noting that genetic relationship was the equivalent of first cousins, and that was okay. But even that ruling cited the almost universal horror, they quoted, with which a parent-child marriage is viewed. There
is an anomalous thing that occurs when people have been separated and they're rejoined after a while. And
it states that in here, that they reunite decades later and become romantic.
Right.
But the parent in the new case who hears wedding bells when looking at their own kid says they want to propose, but would sustain emotional harm if they did so while the current laws are in effect. I don't think they have a case.
I don't think so.
All right.
No.
And you know what? We'll just wrap it up there. We'll end on incest.
Yeah, it's always a good one. Yeah.
All right.
Leave them wanting more incest.
We are doing something. Casey just
got a couple things.
He's handing things and pointing at things. All right, you have a little under 5 minutes to enter our keyword for the Preston and Steve Money Clip. The word is obvious, OBVIOUS. So do that now. You can text it, or you can go through the app, or you can go to WMMR.com. And by the way, the contest short code number is 45911. And then I want to give something away. If you've already texted, or as soon as you're done texting, you can call in, and we'll take caller number 8 and give you a case of sparkling hard tea from Loverboy. You might recall Loverboy from Bravo's hit reality series Summer House. It's the better for you premium beverage featuring high quality, low calorie, sparkling hard teas, and you can pick up a 6-pack for $13.99 at your local Acme. So caller number 8, we'll give that to you now. 215-263-WMMR. That's the number. We'll be back in a moment.
really like archival, like
black and white.
Yes, porn, like from
like early days of photography porn.
Guys with handlebar mustaches, and it's like, gosh, this is weird.
Well, it just goes to show that human nature. Even back then, when things were a little more provincial. Yeah.
The same menu items were still there.
Yep. There's lots of people who have a wonderfully perverted sense about them. So that's it's an interesting look. There is breaking news that came across in the entertainment world.
Breaking news.
Former, and this was on Good Morning America just a while ago, former Bachelor Colton Underwood has come out as gay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes, right? The Bachelor.
Who had a whole show based on him dating women.
Exactly. I'm
not sure I love you.
He was on with Robin Roberts, and he said, and this was one of those that had an interesting story behind it because there was a restraining order and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty messy.
So he said, I've ran from myself for a long time. I've hated myself for a long time. I came to terms with that earlier this year and have been processing it. And the next step in all of this was sort of letting people know. And when I first saw the headline of this, I was like, dude, really? Why would you go and be on a show?
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. Now that he was on The Bachelorette too, he was a contestant first on that. And if you're gay, God bless you and be who you are.
Absolutely.
But you don't do that.
Well, unless you are so committed to trying to hide it. No, listen. Well, it's his journey, and that's I got it. Okay, but it does seem to stand dramatically. I mean, that's exactly the other end of the spectrum.
Now, I read the other excerpts from this story, so bear with me if you will. Underwood realized he was different at age 6, he said, but now he says he's the happiest and healthiest he's ever been, but admitted to finding himself in a dark and bad place before realizing his truth. He said, overall, the reason why now is because I got to a place where I would have rather died than say that I'm gay.
So the restraining order stuff and the
I'll get to that.
Let's get to all that.
So the former NFL player implied that he had even attempted suicide at one point.
Okay, which is horrible.
Sort of. He said this. There was a moment in L.A. that I woke up and I didn't think I was going to wake up. And he said I didn't have the intentions of waking up. I think that for me was my wake-up call. He was linked to Bachelor contestant Cassie Randolph, who took out a restraining order against him last year. They met on season 23 of the show. During the interview, he apologized directly to Randolph. He said, I would like to say sorry for how things ended. I messed up. I made a lot of bad choices. Underwood admitted that he was in love with Randolph, which made figuring out his sexuality more difficult. He said, it made it more confusing for me. I loved everything about her. I wish that would have been, I think it's supposed to say, I wish that I would have been courageous enough to fix myself before breaking anyone else.
So, go ahead.
Here's the deal. To cover the restraining order thing.
Please do.
So the pair first broke up in 2019 when they realized they weren't communicating, but learned to work on those issues and got back together. They split up once more in 2020, but the breakup took a dark turn. Months later, Randolph filed for and received a restraining order against Underwood, after she claimed that he was stalking her. She alleged Underwood put a tracking device on her car and sent her unsettling text messages. She eventually filed a police report about the alleged tracker.
Was any of that validated?
Well, she dropped the restraining order in November, and I don't know, Steve. He does address it. He said the two of us were able to reach a private agreement to address any of Cassie's concerns. I do not believe Cassie did anything wrong in filing the restraining orders, and also believe she acted in good faith. I appreciate everyone's respect for privacy and regarding this matter. He apologized to her, and he said he also apologized to the women that he hurt by even appearing on The Bachelor. He said, do I regret being on The Bachelor? Do I regret handling it the way that I did? I do. I do think I could have handled it better. I just wish that I wouldn't have dragged people into the mess of figuring out who I was. He said, but I can sit here and say I'm sorry to all those women. I can also say thank you because without them and without the Bachelor franchise, I don't know if this would have come out. He admitted that he had thanked God for putting him on The Bachelor because it meant that he was straight. First appeared on the Bachelorette in 2018, by the way.
Okay, so he looked at this as validation to himself that he was straight.
That's what he's saying.
Okay, now listen, I'll take him at that. But to your original point, like, wow.
Yeah, so I guess, and listen, I don't know what it's like to be in that mindset, to be struggling with something like that, to maybe being denying those feelings within yourself that you're not sure about. Are these true feelings? Or it's
got to be tough.
It's got to be hard, but going on a show like that.
Well, just going on that show to begin with.
Yes,
no matter,
exactly.
No matter what.
People in general that are on that show.
It doesn't matter what you are. Just to go on that show in general, and then this.
I'm suspect of. But I can't imagine what it's like to struggle with something like that. It can be easy for anybody to look at it and go, oh, you idiot, you did that on purpose, and so forth. But I mean, having plenty of gay people in my life and in my family, and I understand the hesitancy to come out with that information, but I guess first you have to be honest with yourself, and maybe you're so afraid of coming out with that information that you're trying to convince yourself that you aren't who you are, and blah, blah, blah.
I guess
it's got to be crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe the decision to go on those shows was more of a professional.
He was a former football player, yes.
Professional maneuver rather than, really trying to find any sort of love or anything like that.
For the exposure, you mean? Just
exposure.
To get his name out there? Yeah. And we're still, in a weird way, talking about the guy.
I mean, I thought, honestly, Colton Underwood was over.
But that's a leap, man.
It is.
That's a big leap. There are other shows. Maybe try to go on a home improvement show or something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of the women show had any inclination.
I'll bet you some did.
I mean, it's just like
women have a really good intuition.
If you'd be surprised though how what they refer to as gaydar. Like, look at you know what though? No, maybe there are things there are elements that are attractive. Maybe who the hell knows? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Like some like those are the quality, and you can't make blanket statements about anybody or anything like that. It's wrong to do that. However, maybe there are aspects that appeal, to that and to women.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell to say. I just can't even believe going on those shows to begin with.
I know, but that's I saw that headline. I was like, wow, man, that's no kidding. Contestant where you have a harem of women.
Don't they have a gay version of The Bachelor, basically, on I think it's on Bravo?
Do they?
A good question.
They had something. They've had a couple of shows like that. They are certainly nowhere near as successful as the Bachelor and Bachelorette, but they have been going on, Maybe that's where you find love.
Maybe aim for that. Now he could aim for that, I guess.
Guess what?
But I guess maybe it was it's confusing for somebody.
We need to talk, sweetie.
Struggling with that. Yes, talk to somebody who's been through some confusing things in their life.
Well, listen, this guy's going to go through a storm of publicity and I'm sure like a range of emotions. But I hope
Cover of People magazine.
Yeah. But I hope when the dust settles, he is a happier person.
That's all.
As a result.
That's all.
Absolutely. The moment that somebody comes out, who was I reading about? Rapinoe.
Megan Rapinoe, yeah.
Rapinoe. I was we were at Barnes & Noble the other day, and I saw her autobiography, and I picked up and I started flipping through it. And, I was reading about the moment she decided to come out, and for people who do that, what a wave of relief it can be. Now, it brings on all kinds of complexities as well, but the overall sensation of, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. You know what I mean?
I know this is not a direct correlation, but you've ever had something bad or something that you felt embarrassed about or something in your life that you've ever dealt with on just a small level. I think of like stars of yore, like who had to completely hide.
Like the Rock Hudsons of the world?
Rock Hudson, and I there was certainly a lot that was very sad about his thing. He knowingly was having relations with people knowing that he was sick, and that was something with Rock Hudson. I don't think is something that can ever be squared with me, at least in my mind. But like David Ogden Stiers.
That's the one I was thinking of.
For so long, who could not. To me, that's got to be. You're not.
Yeah, who
you just
you are.
can't be you, and that And if we are not who we are, I mean, that's the one thing we own, who we are.
If you don't know who David Ogden Stiers was, he was Charles Winchester on MASH, and I remember when that story came out, and he was, well into his maybe early 70s when he officially came out. And I remember us seeing that story and going, man, you had to wait till now to do that? You poor guy, man. That must have sucked, having to live in that veil for all that time in your life. It's got to be tough, man.
Believe it or not, Preston, I was reading an article, and there was an interview with Kate Winslet. And she says, even now you think, okay, Hollywood. Right. There's this hub of progressive thinking and acceptance and so on and so forth. That, everybody's love everybody and blah, blah, blah. Kate Winslet says she knows of 4 actors, prominent actors, who have not come out and just are terrified to do so.
Man, I was talking to somebody.
And then she named them.
Over the weekend who, it's not their father, but somebody's father is gay. And I was like, well, okay, that sucks because clearly he was not able to, come out in time. But at the same time, had he not come out, or had he come out, then that person would have never been born.
Might not have been born, exactly. So, yeah, it's an interesting situation.
But
The Bachelor never.
Colton
never
Underwood.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, listen, and God bless his situation. I hope he is free of whatever restrictions he has. I also have to say this also, he's an idiot. He's been an idiot forever. That doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
He's a stone cold dummy.
Now he's just a gay idiot.
Stone cold dummy.
Yeah, but here's happiness. I'm glad he's able to be free of that.
Every group, every ethnicity, every sexual orientation, any classification you can come up
idiots.
with, there are idiots in that group.
And that is actually what unites us.
That's right. If it weren't for the morons in this world,
they're the glue that holds society together.
Wow. All right. Well, listen, I did some other things that we can talk about. Let's dive into the junk drawer. Why not?
Oh, wait. Don't we have... Oh, wait.
This is the new music.
No. Start it again in case it can be 2 seconds.
That's right. That's right. Say it again, Preston.
Let's dive into the junk drawer. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. All right. So... oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I actually have to find a story first before I get to it. 420's coming up.
Yeah.
And people are bidding hundreds of dollars for cannabis-themed Colorado license plates, and it's for a good cause. The state is auctioning off the rights to 14 state license plates with cannabis-themed phrases, and the proceeds will benefit the Colorado Disability Funding Committee. Some of the phrases up for grabs include bong, ganja. Now, this I don't know. Teb gritty?
Teb gritty?
Anybody know that?
Nope. Not from here.
There are some terms here.
Is that a strain?
That I may be too old school for.
Well, so this is like bumper stumpers, Preston. Maybe it's not Teb gritty. Maybe it's like T.E. Begritty.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, T.E. Begritty.
T.E. Begritty.
Or Teb Garrity or T.
Or Teb Gritty.
Tigridy.
Oh, Tigridy Farms.
No, I don't know. That's not.
That's where they make high quality butter.
This is Teb Gritty. Tebgridy. And also hash is up for grabs. There's a license plate that's ISIT 420, which is it 420. Is the current garner of bids more than $6,500, making it the most in-demand option right now.
Do you remember years? Well, when in the whole history of personalized license plates, there were things they would certainly not allow you to have. Right. I'm sure drug references would have been forbidden a while ago.
Agreed.
And now it's acceptable, at least in places where it's legal.
Did you guys ever have a vanity plate?
Ass man.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I never did.
I wanted to for a while, but I never could settle on something that said it all. That was like, okay, that's it, done deal.
Cap and black fingers.
Yeah, so
that would have been good. So my whole family, me, my mom, my brothers and sister, we had agreed that we were all going to do vanity plates. Our last name, family nickname is Foz, F-O-Z.
Yeah.
And so my mom was going to be Foz 1, my sister Foz 2, my brother
cute.
Foz 3. I was going to be Foz 4. Well, the only one who actually ended up following through on it was my little brother, my younger brother, and he was going to be Foz 5, but Pennsylvania made a mistake, and he's now Fonz 5.
Who is?
He's my brother Kevin.
His Fonz 5.
License plate
Are you
says-
serious?
Yeah, hey. Yeah, so he's Fonz.
Seriously?
Yes, I swear to God.
How come this is the first we're hearing this? When did this happen?
Probably over a year ago.
And he was supposed to get Foz 5, and he ended up with Fonz 5.
Yeah.
Hey. And why did he not immediately get rid of that?
You know what? He was doing some sort of research on A, how it happened, and B, and how he could fix it. I'm going to see if I can find a picture.
That's hilarious.
Fonz 5.
That's amazing. That's great.
By the way, a bunch of calls and texts coming in saying Tegrity is from South Park. It's a pot farm, but this maybe it's a typo. It says TEBGRIDY.
It's got to be a typo.
So
if it's a Colorado license plate, I mean,
it's
South Park
got
is
to
in
be
Colorado.
Tegrity. Okay,
and
that's why I didn't understand it.
It's pot related, yeah.
All right, so thank you for your calls. You can hang up now. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, look on the screen, Preston, up above you. It's what you had in front of you was a typo.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You rat bastards.
Other ones are herb. I like that one.
What does that mean? No, I'm kidding.
Hemp and stash. Stash is pretty good, too.
Yeah.
And honey. Is honey a... I've never heard that
I know
phrase.
bees make it.
Well,
weed.
you store your herb in there.
We used to smoke out of a little honey.
Because of
the bear?
True Romance?
Yeah, probably.
Brad Pitt's character smoked out of a honey
That's
bear?
how we smoked out of it. Yeah.
I often put honey in my tea.
It was like an old honey container, Preston. It looked like a bear.
Yeah, made it into a pipe?
Yeah, you can make it into a pipe. And,
Did you guys have one of those? Every home had. We had it. We didn't use it for it. Yeah, but it was great.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, a little trick for you. If you ever get to where the honey is thickened or the top gets kind of crystallized and you can't get it out, fill up some hot water in the sink and drop it in there a minute or two, loosens it up.
And then smoke weed out of it?
And then smoke weed out of it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep, absolutely.
When we got low on that, I came out as gay, and that was my solution.
Congratulations. Nice. Everybody's got their own method.
You know, when I worked for Pierre, I had to get him a vanity tag for Minerva, and it was just Minerva.
Yeah.
It was so easy. Like it was like 3 steps on PA, PA's website, and I finished the process. It cost $25 or something like that. I'm surprised not everybody has one.
Can do it that quickly. There are some things like I was surprised to learn, Preston, you had a story about a guy who changed his name. It was in England, and he legally changed his name to Celine Dion.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
It was just like he was able to just fill out some documents, mail it in, and it was done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe things have become a lot quicker in those realms, but to me, these always seem like things that took a long while.
Yeah, it might be easier now. I mean, with the information moving so quickly, you might be able to get that stuff taken care of. So anyhow, if you live in Colorado, they are, and this is backed by the governor and everything. Yeah. So you can go for it. And I wonder how long before New Jersey does something like that. Eventually, someday. All right, let me see what else we got in here. The happiest place on earth is focusing on more inclusion. On Tuesday, Disney Parks Experiences and Products Chairman Josh D'Amaro announced that the company's theme parks have added inclusion as one of their core values. And in part, that means that theme park employees will have more flexibility in their dress code, particularly around personal expression. He said Disney will allow workers to have more gender-inclusive hairstyles, jewelry, nail styles, and costume choices. And cast members will also be allowed to show appropriate tattoos. So they're going to, let you loosen up and wear some personal items.
Like Pluto can have a Hell's Angels tattoo on his arm?
I don't know. Maybe. No, but I guess they're one of those companies or groups that was very strict on appearance, very strict on.
They couldn't have facial hair. Like it's very specific, and so they're saying they're going to let their employees express who they are a little.
That's
bit
why one thing I would like is the ability to determine if they are in fact an employee. That helps.
So I remember, Steve, I think it might have been back in like the 60s or 70s. That Disneyland had a very strict, like if you had long hair and you're a guy,
in fact,
they wouldn't allow you.
It was one of the big selling points. In fact, I remember when I first went, I was a little kid when we went to Disneyland. My father was working for Diners Club at the time, which is a credit card company that existed years ago. Preston, with that famous, everyone would take a picture in front of that sign as you walked in because it was like, look at this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
So now they've loosened up. I think the whole tattoo thing, I think they come to the realization over time, so many people have tattoos that we can't find enough people to hire.
We need employees.
Yeah.
It's like the Yankees. You couldn't have a mustache. You couldn't have facial hair. You couldn't have like sideburns. Like Steinbrenner wouldn't allow any of his players or managers to have any type of expression on their face. It was just a bizarre rule.
So they're gonna allow that. Which actually, you know what? I'm gonna segue into a conversation that you brought up the other day, Nick. This is not necessarily out of the junk drawer, but it does tie in with this.
There's another drawer
about businesses that are now getting back on their feet, getting up and running, needing to hire more people and having a hard time to finding people to hire, which is the opposite of what you think it would be. There would be ample people available for work, but right now businesses are having a hard time. And it's in service industries, right?
Yes.
Well, restaurants. I have
restaurants, absolutely.
A friend that runs a landscaping company. He's having trouble getting people to work in the nurseries, and then down the shore, it's going to be like camp counselors are going to need employees this summer. And Casey and Preston and I were talking about this off air. A lot of the jobs down the shore have been filled traditionally by Eastern Europeans, Russians, Ukrainians, and
Serbians.
People from Eastern Europe, and they don't know if they're going to be able to come to this country this year because of travel restrictions.
They had that problem last year.
So but last year at least the demand was a little bit lower. This year the demand is going to be back because so many people are going to be down the shore. So many people are going to be going to restaurants. So these jobs that were often filled by immigrants aren't going to be necessarily filled this year. It's going to be a very interesting problem to see how these positions get filled over the next few months.
Yeah, and which means that can mean good things for maybe like my teens that are looking for a part-time job for the summer and so on, that it might be a little bit easier to grab something like that.
Take advantage of it because listen, obviously checks have gone out and people they're just getting back on their feet, and that's the deal. But if you grab a job now and get in as when things start to transition and everything's getting back up on its feet, you could have a gig. Take advantage of the opportunity now because you don't know if that'll last.
Yeah, I saw on the digital billboard outside of the Plymouth Meeting Mall that Redstone was looking for every aspect of
So when do you start, Kathy?
I know, right? But no, I mean, it listed, servers, hostess, chef, like it had everything. They were looking for a lot of workers, obviously.
Wow. There are two restaurants in Wayne. One's called the Goat's Beard. One's called At the Table. Both of those restaurants are short-staffed. So if you're a lot of people that were in the restaurant industry last year left because of the pandemic and have not returned to it. So it's good because you can possibly find a job at a higher salary. Servers traditionally make money off of tips, but they are some restaurants are offering salaried or hourly wages now in order to supplement the tips.
Nick, I kid you not, news story locally, at least one or two restaurants are actually offering signing bonus.
Yeah.
Like if you go, you'll get $250 if you go down and apply for the job and get it.
Yeah, there was here's a text says we're hiring extra plumbers and apprentices and we're offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. And he says nobody's calling.
Yeah.
Whoever texted in.
I mean,
what? Okay.
Remember, things will change. Take advantage of this stuff if you can.
Yeah. I saw a sign outside of a business near my house that said $5,000 signing bonus, and I thought, man, how does that work? There has to be some sort of contract that you sign that you can,
you can't sign it and quit after 4 days.
Get my bonus, and then
I'm sure there's at least a time frame you're expected to work.
Yeah. But like you were saying, Steve, so, eventually as things are turning around, you may be collecting unemployment right now. The bigger picture is having a long-term
gig,
position and advancement. And the earlier you get in on something, the more opportunity there is for you to advance and make more money.
And if you come in when they really need it and they really need the help, it'll be remembered. And I tell you something, man. You get in listen, this is a robust restaurant and service industry town. If you get in like to a good restaurant, I mean, that can be a career if you are, there are multiple levels of careers available at a good restaurant.
Another one that came up in conversation was this camp that Marissa and I used to go to called Camp Taco, and my son goes there now, and a lot of their employees came from the British Isles, so they had a lot of English and Irish and Welsh kids, and they might not be able to come over. So they are actively looking for employees right now. If anybody is listening and interested in a job, send me a note, and I'll let you know about it because they are short-staffed this summer. So
where's Camp Taco? It's in Maryland. Island, right?
Yeah, on the Eastern Shore, right on Chesapeake Bay. And it's Steve, like to your point, there are jobs out there to be had that are good jobs, and they're going to pay better now than they did last year or the year before.
And if you're loaded with sleeves and tattoos, you can go work at Disneyland.
Yeah, my God, yeah.
Disney World's going to hire you.
Yeah,
now.
that Camp Taco lets you smoke and drink in front of the kids now.
Right? Look, dude,
Yeah.
they're not being that picky right
Yeah,
now.
I know. Oh, my
All right, that's all we have time for in the junk drawer. It was a quickie. We just peeked into the drawer, so I'm sure at some point this week we'll have to get back into it.
thing. We've talked about the Marconis in the past, right? And the Marconis are the annual Academy Awards of radio, right? And there's about 23 or 24 of these things that they hand out to stations and morning shows, right? Different formats or whatever. There's an even more rare acknowledgement or an award. It's called the Crystal. MMR has never won one. It's for excellence in community service. Oh. And we were, there are 10 stations that are awarded this across the country. It is a major pain in the ass to try to, just to apply for this. Right. And I got to shout out Laura Lewis, who's one of our employees. She did all the research about what dates we did, how many PSAs we ran, what were the topics of all the public service programs that we ran, and the events that we supported, even in a COVID year. Yeah. Because you did ACS Bike-a-thon. It was a virtual thing.
Well, I did the ACS is different, but it's the bend to the
shore.
Marcus does the ACS Bike-a-thon, yeah.
All of these things, right? And it was probably a 12-page submission that she put together. And anyway, we were announced as one of the finalists. There was 50 stations that were announced as finalists a couple months ago. They announced the winners yesterday, and WMMR is a Crystal Award winner. Wow. Really, really cool. I mean, that's, MMR's never got this, and it's about community service, which, look, it's about entertainment, but it's also about the blood drive that you guys managed to pull off yesterday, or last year. Yeah. Camp Out for Hunger. All those interviews you do with the guy, you know, climbing Luke's wall, or the
Big Climb Philly.
Big Climb Philly.
Maybe we should get Laura Lewis in here.
No, a lot of times you'll do a 15-minute.
The Tangleford 500.
Yes.
Okay.
Listen, Bill, thank you. All of us do individual things, and we all do group things. You know, we do things as a show, we do things as a station, and it's a really nice acknowledgement. But everybody in this room does something, and that all contributes to us getting this award. And everybody at the station does that too. So it's a really cool collective effort.
Yeah.
Now, I think also another thing too. I mean, it was a unique year, obviously, with all that was going on. But I think every year, you know, and this is a true station thing, because everybody's, as you said, Nick, everybody outside of the Preston Steve Show and other shows out, they're involved with everything. I mean, we kind of bring it every damn year.
Yeah. You know? I remember about a year ago, Steve, a little less than a year ago, when the pandemic first hit and everything was shut down. Our show, and then, as it turns out, the rest of the air staff, we went into action. We started delivering those frontline hero signs.
Right. Okay. That was in the application.
And that was in the application. And I was, my son had a baseball game last week, and I was exiting the parking lot of Garden Valley High School, and sure enough, there was one of our signs.
Oh, no kidding.
It was still sitting on somebody's front lawn.
How about that?
Yeah.
There was the small business thing, the shop local thing that we put into place shortly after. People were really impacted on this, and Pierre was very vocal about the stagehands unions that were impacted by the concerts going away. So all of that stuff was compiled, and it's pretty cool. Here's another dynamic about this thing. You can have a small AM station in Brainerd, Minnesota, or tiny little town, and maybe
I was waiting for a Bill Weston name that day.
I know. I cut him off just to move it
you did.
along.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah.
And
Pud Puncher, Illinois.
In Pud Puncher, and they can dedicate a huge amount of their airtime to doing community service things, because maybe the economics of revenue, advertising, whatever, allows them to have a lot of public affairs programs.
Right, the latitude to do it.
This is a very successful commercial entity with, talent and all that infrastructure, but we still manage to do these things for the community that we serve.
It's so cool.
By the way, WJJY in Brainerd, Minnesota did win.
Oh, there he goes. Right outside of Pud Puncher.
Not to diminish those efforts, but I think at a top 10 market, with a station that's personality profiled and very busy, and it's pretty cool. I'm just so thrilled that
that's awesome.
You guys have a lot to do with that. Camp Out for Hunger obviously was one of the big things that was part of the application as well.
Well, that's
thank you,
everybody.
And a shout out to Kathy Romano. Yes, just because she's beautiful, and she's got a really intriguing jewelry line that's coming out. Every 3 months, she has to create the quarterly report, which is the compilation of what Marcus Goldman does. Marcus from our air staff does a public affairs program every Sunday. So it's the programming that we do, as well as the events and the initiatives and the interviews and the support that we give a lot of good events in our town.
And all the stuff we do on this show, too.
Yeah.
There we go. It's awesome. So it's great that we got it.
The listeners that support those events, that give us their blood and their food and their money and all that kind of stuff.
By the way, we have an announcement concerning that coming up very soon.
Okay. Yes.
About the blood drive, so that's me on the way.
Great.
We got about another, I don't know, a minute or so before our next.
You want to sing us a song, Bill?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No,
Actually.
you know what I would do? The hardware doesn't come for maybe a couple, 3 weeks. So that would be nice when it gets here to involve Pierre. Right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Do that at the crosser because, Pierre's got a lot to do with our.
He does, yes.
I heard that Pierre last week got an A+ on one of his shows.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, is he that good?
Oh, my God. Well,
it was the Happy Show, right?
I had sat down with Pierre a couple of days prior to that and said, look, Pierre, you went 9 minutes talking about Uncle Dale in the hospital. It's like, look, good cause. Uncle Dale helps. We love him.
Captain Dale.
Captain Dale.
Yeah.
9 minutes. And he was very receptive to that. I appreciate being able to coach a guy with that much experience, right?
Yeah.
2 days later, he does this amazing break block feature on Cheap Trick. He said all the right things about music and friends and whatever. I said I felt compelled to come down and
he must have been blown away.
Give him the A+.
Yeah,
I thought I was coming in to yell at him for playing a deep track or something from Cheap Trick, but
like no remorse, right?
Yeah, it was good. It happens.
I think we've only had 2 A+ in 15 plus years.
And one was a joke because he felt as though he needed to give it to him.
Was it?
Yeah, so I think we really only have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you also got a 23 share. So that's a nice grade to get to in the ratings. So
all right.
We didn't make 30?
I appreciate that so much, you guys. Oh, my God.
No problem.
All right.
All right. Bill Weston.
Thank you.
There he goes again. Give him some music, please.
You know what? I want to give him his regular music. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Bill.
All right. Let's see. We do have a little bit of time. So, Case.
We're ready to go.
Oh, we're ready to go?
We are ready to go.
Oh, I was looking for a phone call.
Oh, no. It's a
Shut up.
We didn't know that.
Look at his hat.
All right. I can't see it. What is it?
It's an Eagles
hat.
Hey. Very nice. Please welcome. You know him from the movie The Sandlot. And there's something special that they have. The cast members have come up with.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Which is really cool. And Timmy Timmons' character he played in the movie. Please welcome Victor DiMattia.
Hey.
To the show. Hey, Victor.
What's
how
up,
you
guys?
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So the Eagles hat, you bought that special for this interview this morning, or are you a diehard
No, I
Eagles
have
fan? What's up?
many Eagles hats. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware.
Didn't know that.
Wow. When did you leave the area? How old were you?
I was in my 20s. I left and went to college. I went to the Academy of Art in San Francisco.
Okay, where did you go to high school when you were? Are you a Sally's boy or Archmere guy?
No, I went to. So a couple of my cousins were. I went to AI DuPont High School.
Oh. Okay. How about that? I wish I would have known. I am such a huge fan of the movie The Sandlot that I wish we would have been great friends growing up. That would have been.
We could have. I was right there.
Do you know it's an amazing thing here with this movie, and we've had. I believe we had the writer director. We've had other cast members on the show.
Yep.
I think. Could you imagine the nightmare if you guys didn't embrace how near and dear this has become to so many people? Because it has. But there have been people who've gotten to the dance and gotten their fame and notoriety and then turn on the vessel that got them there. You guys never did that.
No, we never did. In fact, it was. I mean, we didn't really. I don't even think we really understood it for a while. It was like the 20th anniversary or so. We just celebrated our 28th anniversary.
Is the 20th where it kicked in, where you said, okay,
that's when
this means this much?
That's when like Salt Lake City, where we filmed it, they brought us back and they had like a plaque made to commemorate the set, the actual Sandlot. It's a historical landmark now. And I think that's when we started to realize.
Right.
Yeah, I want to say it was around the 20th anniversary that we had David Mickey Evans in studio to talk about it and to promote it. And when we talked to him, we just talked about how great the cast was and how. And I guess you guys were playing younger than you actually were, and that was a decision that they had to make in order to get the abilities that you guys had as actors, and because you had these kids that you guys were really, really great and very, very convincing in each of your roles. So so you guys were playing younger than you actually were, correct?
Well, I think what it was is that originally in the script, I think they were like 9 years old or something.
Okay.
And when they started getting into pre-production and stuff, they go, we can't do this movie with 9-year-olds. It's just not going to work. All the baseball stuff and I mean, the squint scene would have been really awkward with a 9. It was weird enough with a 12.
Yeah. Well, the sensibilities change.
Yeah. And so listen, there are some gems in that movie. Obviously, You're Killing Me Smalls is a big one, and I would love to get Patrick Renna on our show. He's the one who plays a great Hambino. But there's a scene that you're in. I believe it's your character where when they're trying to suck the baseball up with a vacuum cleaner, and the vacuum cleaner explodes, and then the dust is all over your face, correct?
Yeah, that was me.
That's an underappreciated, I think, scene and moment in the movie, because the movie is just filled with so many great moments. But I just wanted to give you your kudos on that particular scene.
It was appreciated. I wanted to ask you as well, Victor, because, again, when you're dealing with sports movies, they hold a special, and this is a sports movie. Obviously, it's a coming-of-age story as well. But are there any athletes that you have met throughout your life who have come to you and betrayed the fact that The Sandlot was a critical part of their interest in sports or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I've all different, I've had basketball players and football players come up and say it, but really the biggest impact is on baseball players. And especially when we have anniversaries and we go around to different baseball stadiums, and like all the players, it's unbelievable because they come out and tell us, like, you're the reason I started playing baseball.
Who's the most notable? Did anyone in particular impress you?
I think the coolest was Matt Kemp.
No way,
really? MVP.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you a geek I guess the question has to be asked, are you yourself, you're wearing the Eagles hat, but are you yourself a legitimate sports fan?
I am, yeah. I'm actually not. Baseball is kind of lower on my list of sports.
Okay, all right.
But I'm definitely a football fan first, Eagles first, and then probably the Sixers after that.
Has the train passed on you playing a young kid in a football movie?
Probably, yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Well, I want to ask about what you guys are doing with the Sandlot digital baseball cards, the NFT. Explain a little bit of what that's all about, please.
Yeah, so this is like a whole new thing that's happening with these NFTs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this stuff, but
familiar, but not really understanding 100%.
Yeah. So give us a schooling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a totally different sort of thing. So it's all digital stuff. It's like people are creating these collectibles and creating fine art and all sorts of cool things that basically are created inside of this cloud, and they live inside the cloud and they can never leave. So it's purely digital. The NBA has got a whole line of different sort of trading card type things. The MLB is releasing a set, I think on the 20th of April it comes out. But like everybody, like William Shatner's got a set, and there's all just Garbage Pail Kids, a lot of cool stuff out there.
So the basic gist of it is that you have digital collectibles that are not. It's not like you're trading JPEGs. These are things that you have ownership of when you're buying collectibles, but they do not exist in a physical realm.
There you go. You nailed it.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. Interesting. So, like, we tend to think, okay, just you hit the pad and save as or whatever. These are things that are not that. You own them and you can decide what to do with them. It's not like it's.
And I guess they're unique, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're unique.
You can't go and get copies.
Yeah, they're unique. They're NFTs. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and that all that means is that it's unique.
Right.
It's got a serial number attached to it, and you have ownership of it. And once you own it, you can resell it or do whatever you want with it.
To be honest, the initial response to this is like, I don't even know if are you being robbed of the tactile thing. But a lot of times, something living in the digital realm is going to keep its. It won't get handprints all over it. It won't get, there won't be the wear and tear if it's, so there's.
Well, and when we eventually go into the Ready Player One world, you'll be able to hold it in front of your hands with your haptic gloves. So
it's cool. So how's the response been in general as you've rolled this out?
It's been really great. I mean, we had. When we made this film, it was all our parents going around taking pictures the whole time, and we just have tons and tons of really cool stuff that like never before been seen. All these cool behind the scenes pictures and just like an interesting sort of perspective on the movie. And we've never really known the best way to share this stuff with all the fans. And now with this NFT space, it's like the creators can really have full control over it and decide how it's distributed, and that's what we wanted to do.
Is there any James Earl Jones stuff available, or what is?
Well, no, not in this set, but we have a couple series planned. We got a whole lot of stuff that we want to release.
Okay, all right.
And what are the increments?
Yeah, so James Earl should be down the line.
Nice.
What can people expect to pay for this wonderful package?
Well, so it's what we're doing is we're selling packs.
Yeah.
The way that the baseball and basketball are doing. So it's like you can buy a $10 pack, or there's a $25 pack, and then you click on it to open it, and it'll randomly select the cards to you at the time. Pack.
You know why this makes sense? Because I'm a big fan of physical media like Blu-rays and 4Ks and so on and so forth. However, I do have a collection of movies that are in my library and that I collect. It's the same thing. I own it digitally as one can own a collection of zeros and ones, but I own it, and so it's similar, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And I think at first it's so different that it doesn't make any sense. But then once you start to wrap your head around it, you go, okay, I have other things that are like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, I'm down with that.
Victor, concerning The Sandlot, I remember a few years back there was talk of maybe like a Goonies reunion and doing a film of these kids as adults now and going through some type of an adventure. I would imagine you guys have been approached by that scenario. And if so, what would make sense if you guys were to get back together? What would make sense for the gang, the Sandlot gang, to get back together and make a movie? Any ideas? Anybody kicked anything around?
Well, I can tell you, I don't know how much I can say, but I can tell you that we've had a meeting about a reboot series. It was originally a Fox film, but Fox was sold to Disney a couple years ago. So we did have a meeting about bringing that to a streaming service as a series. They pitched us all the storylines and everything, and it's really cool.
So, we understand the director who signed on is Quentin Tarantino.
That's correct. It's a much different.
It's a much different
way
take.
different than the film. Yeah.
The GIMP is the
GIMP is your cat. He's got the mask on already, Preston.
At the end of the movie, they did sort of, hey, where are they now type of deal. And one of the characters really got into the 60s. Which character was that?
That was Bertram. That was my buddy Grant. Yes. Shout out to Grant.
So geographically, how close are you to the other cast members?
Well, I'm in LA. Okay. So most of us are here in Los Angeles. So I'm pretty close to those.
Oh, that's
guys.
cool.
A couple of them are East Coast, but everybody else is here.
It's such an elusive thing to be a part of something that can transcend the way this has. And again, as I started in the conversation saying, the fact that you embrace it, I think, means a lot to the fans.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you pray for as an actor. I mean, to be involved in something that 28 years later people are still passionate about.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes I get crucified for saying this, but I think The Sandlot is, for me, it is a top 3 baseball movie. It's Sandlot is up there, and then Major League for me is number 1. I think Sandlot is number 2, and then number 3 kind of it switches. Sometimes it's Bad News Bears, other times it is.
It's all comedy stuff for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like
have you ever seen The Natural?
Yeah.
I don't really care for The Natural. Bull Durham is up there.
Yeah, there's no St. Bernard in The Natural.
No.
That would be great, though.
Well, and I think Sandlot sort of transcends that for a lot of people because it's not really about the baseball. It's about the friendship and stuff.
That's it's basically Stand By Me with baseball. You know, it has that same vibe. It's great. Yeah.
Well, Victor, these are available. The cards, the digital cards are available at boysofsummer.cards. Is that where people can find it?
That's correct. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure everybody is aware of it. It's cool. We love the film, and thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
Go check it out. I'll send you guys a couple free packs. All right.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. And when you come back to Wilmington, come and see us. All right.
All right. Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks for having me,
Victor DiMattia. Thanks, man. So
it is a fun movie.
It is. It's great, and it's got elements of like Little Rascals in it, and it's just great all the way around. You know what? We got to take a break, gang. I'm going to wrap it up right now because when we return, Bizarre File and hopefully $500 in your pocket with the money clip. We'll be right back.
Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
How are things in Boyertown this morning? 36 countries over 4 decades. Well, no wonder the guy never stopped doing it. He did it for 40 years.
I was thinking about him the other day because he scammed Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick and took a lot of their money. And I guess the genius, if you want to call it that, of a pyramid scheme is that you find ways to pay people in the interim. So they think that they're getting money on their investments, and then in the end, you're just hoarding more of it than you're actually giving back to them.
Well, the clock starts ticking.
Yeah.
So you bring on new clients and you use their investments to pay your older clients. But you're not really, none of the stuff that you say you're doing is actually happening. So you're building that pyramid. And, as I said before, Preston, I'm like, I get nervous at the inspection sticker on the car being out of date. And these guys are, billions of dollars into a massive crime and they don't care.
And he was able to do this all by himself?
I believe he had...
Yeah, I think
his
there
wife
were people
was unaware.
involved. I thought there were people involved.
I thought so. I don't know.
I don't know. It's the only arrest that I know of. So wow. Okay.
I mean, there were like widows and people who were counting on money that just was gone, left destitute.
82. He's gone. All right, that's your second piece of breaking news today. Here's another one.
93.3 WMMR. It's time for a Preston and Steve Money Clip.
You're a real crumb bum.
Now, here's your Money Clip keyword.
All right, our keyword for this hour is Miss, M-I-S-S. And you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. There are 3 ways for you to do it. You can text it to our special contest short code number, which is 45911. Or if you'd also like to be entered to the for the $10,000 grand prize, you can enter on the MMR app or at WMMR.com. And one random entry wins $500 in our company-wide contest. And that person will get a call from our company, Beasley. So make sure that you answer your phone. You get a call. Contest rules available at WMMR.com. It is sponsored by Hyundai City. And the word again, I'll give it to you one more time. Miss, M-I-S-S. Good luck to you.
Now, WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Natural Lawn of America brings it to us. They're safer for your lawn, kids, and pets. You can schedule their full-service program and get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED. Natural Lawn of America, greener grass, fewer weeds, guaranteed. Well, on the heels of that breaking news about Bernie Madoff thing, this is a little bit smaller, but still, hell of an accomplishment. A couple out of Florida is accused of fraudulently collecting $5.8 million in COVID-19 relief money and using it to buy a luxury car, Louis Vuitton merchandise, and more, and then flaunting it on Facebook.
Rat bastards.
According to prosecutors, Julio Lugo and Rosanide Venant had submitted at least 70 false fraudulent loan applications starting last spring to the Small Business Administration, including for shell companies established by Lugo, Venant, and their relatives. And they also secured coronavirus relief funds for a defunct tax preparation company that Lugo had previously used for a 2015 fraud scheme. Once the emergency loans were secured, Lugo and Venant paid off a luxury vehicle, spent more than $62,000 at casinos alone. They also allegedly withdrew about $320,000 in cash. Lugo later posted a Facebook video featuring a hotel room littered with $100 bills and at least $5,000 in merchandise from Louis Vuitton.
So they kept it quiet.
Yeah. They were arrested and charged with conspiracy and making false statements to financial institution, and so they're facing up to like 45 years in prison. In North Carolina, a man accidentally shot himself inside the Food Lion grocery store on Friday night. 46-year-old man was inside the store in the bread aisle when something caused a handgun tucked into his waistband of his pants to fire. A witness said, "I turn around and see him grab his crotch and run to the front of the store."
I don't know if
the crap out of me and some of the other shoppers, they said.
Don't you, when you're shopping for bread, pack some heat?
Yep. I usually put it in the crack of my ass.
Yeah.
Is where I put that. I don't put it in the waistband.
No.
So police say that the man reported the shooting to someone working at the store, and there's no word on the man's injuries, but just buying his bread.
Boom, a butthole.
A woman is behind bars after a deadly hit-and-run crash in Boca Raton. 23-year-old Anastasia Snape was driving, excuse me, when she drove her car off the road and onto a sidewalk. And that's when, according to the arrest report, Snape hit the victim, who was walking on the sidewalk. The victim had been identified as Sandra Fernstein. She was pronounced dead. Fernstein,
God.
by the way, was a U.S. District Court judge.
Oh, boy.
In New York. Excuse me. Police said Snape did not stop her car, and then she hit Fernstein. She actually struck a 6-year-old boy who was crossing in the crosswalk before entering the roadway and continuing. The boy was hospitalized. He's been released.
In her defense, she's been not herself since the death of her husband, Severus.
Officers investigated the incident, and they were contacted by the police. They eventually got her, and as they got her out, she was screaming and fighting with medics and stated that she was Harry Potter.
You kidding?
I kid you not.
Oh, my God.
Snape was arrested by police on several charges. So.
No, Harry Potter's Harry Potter.
That's right. This is interesting. Giant African snails were discovered during a baggage examination at JFK International Airport in New York City on Sunday.
These things are, Kathy, they make you vomit. They're huge.
Ew.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection agriculture specialists caught 22 of the highly invasive slimy critters after checking a U.S. man who had arrived on a flight from Ghana. Additionally, specialists found prohibited oxtail, dried beef, turkey, berry, carrot, medicinal leaves, and perquise, a traditional African spice and medicinal plant product.
Are they for eating?
No, I don't know. So, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the giant African snail is one of the most damaging of its kind in the world. The critter consumes at least 500 types of plants and can cause extensive damage to tropical and subtropical environments.
Huge.
It also causes structural damage to plaster and stucco as well.
I didn't know that, yeah.
To make matters worse, the snails pose a serious health risk to humans because it carries a parasitic nematode that can cause meningitis.
Oh, okay.
And giant African snails reproduce very quickly, producing 1,200 eggs in a single year.
Jeez.
So no wonder they want to keep those things
And they're
out of
icky.
here. And they're icky, too. Let's see here. Oh, here's another case of DNA being the
Deciding factor?
discovery of a long ago case.
Wow.
DNA evidence taken from a water bottle used by the now suspect during a cross-country flight helped investigators crack a decades-old case. The victim, Roger Dean, was murdered at his home November 21st, 1985. The perpetrator had entered the house while his face was covered in a ski mask and forced Dean to tie up his wife, demanded $30,000 in their savings account, got into an altercation with the victim that ended with gunshots, and was last seen running down the street of a neighborhood and into a car that witnesses said sped away. Michael Jefferson, who's 64, is now the suspect in the crime. He faces charge of first-degree murder and more. Hair on the ski mask left behind at the crime scene would ultimately crack the case. Technology from 1985 was not able to deduce useful information from a small bit of evidence. But in 2003, Colorado Bureau of Investigation was finally able to develop a profile and enter it into a national database. There were no hits on this. But in 2020, an investigator was able to determine the people who were likely the suspect's parents. That family had 2 sons, and Jefferson was one of them. So law enforcement began to monitor this guy, Jefferson.
Right.
2 deputies boarded the same Spirit Airlines flight between Los Angeles and New Orleans. During the flight, detectives saw Michael drinking from a plastic water bottle. During the flight, Michael discarded the water bottle by handing it to the flight attendant to be placed in the trash, and they accepted it and took the water bottle, and then boom. They got the DNA, and they determined on the water bottle was consistent with the profile of the samples collected from the ski mask in 1985. I love it when they don't give up on these cases.
Yes, and God bless them for sticking to this stuff.
And sometimes fail them. Awesome. And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. And you have about 5 minutes or so, 5 or 6 minutes to enter the word miss for the money clip giveaway. So make sure you do that now. The word is miss. Good luck to you. And then we have a secret text word and your chance to win right because Kathy's going to give us a number caller for that. What is it, Kathy? All right, if you know the secret text word and you're caller number 7 and you give it to us, you win. We'll get a random texture as well. 215-263-WMMR. We'll take Debonair Rocks. I love that bluesy feel of those guys.